Running fans, jumping fans, throwing fans, all around athletics fans. Welcome to Talking Ovals. How's everybody doing out there on this Labor Day, September 1st, 2025, episode number 156. Hyatt, how was your Labor Day?
My Labor Day was spent doing a lot of schoolwork, getting ready for, I guess we call it opening day tomorrow. Just chilling and relaxing, getting ready for the grind. Summer's over, so we're back.
Teachers preparing like you're like going to war again with a bunch of like 6-year-olds. Like,
Nah,
it's like all you guys are like, gotta get ready. We gotta make sure our papers are in order. Let's get our pencils together. It's like,
hey,
but no, it's tough. The grind is real for teachers. I saw what you guys went through when I was substitute teaching and stuff. It's a real grind.
In the realm of track and field, we are down to one final meet. The World Championships are here. There was a lot of drama. Who would get in? Wasn't really that much drama filled. It kind of, those who were going for it didn't really have, didn't really make it. So we're just
some disappointment at the Zurich Diamond League final for some athletes and things like that. I mean, watching Grant Fisher trying to win.
It was cool if you're watching the Athletes Lounge because they were talking to Cooper Tier as Grant was running, and then he's coming on to finishing because if Grant wins, Cooper Tier's in. So it was cool. It kind of add to it, and I owe Mr. Noah Lyles an apology. I was dead wrong. I thought he was done. He's running great now, and he looks like he's going to be right there. Him and Tobogo are going to probably battle it out one more time for that World Championship. I was dead wrong. Thought he was done. Kudos to Noah. I like his approach. He's kind of keeping quieter. He's kind of just letting his running do the talking, and he looks great.
Yeah, so I'm excited for finals. We are in the swing of things with collegiate cross country. That's got started basically this weekend. All the colleges are back in swing. High school basically gets going this week as well.
Yep.
With school coming in, high school comes in. So we are pumped. Before we get into all the fun stuff, sorry about my voice. It might be going in now a little. I was at a Labor Day get together. So talking, a lot of things like that. So if I cough a little, I apologize.
That's all good.
Clear it up right now. Wherever you are watching from, whether it is Facebook, X, Kick, Twitch, YouTube, we appreciate it. Make sure you give us a subscribe, a follow, all that good stuff. If you're listening to this later via podcast form, please give us 5 stars. Leave a comment. That's always good. And leave a comment now so we can talk to you. We could say hi. We promise we'll be nice. But last week, Dave, we had a fun show. We talked to Sinclair Savage, the women's national champion for the long jump at the University of Louisville. Just what an absolute doll.
She was amazing.
Awesome person, great personality. If you missed it, 100% go back and give that a listen. Talking to field athletes is something me and you don't do often.
No,
it was great.
It was cool to kind of get schooled in those events. And, like you and I know the general basics and the rules of it, but to kind of break it down. And I think my favorite part was when we asked her, like, we run one race and it's done. What is it like waiting in the middle of that competition when you jump and then you have to wait for everyone else to jump?
And her being honest, it's like, I'm nervous. I might look calm and cool, but I am nervous. So no, it was good.
It was cool to hear a whole different perspective. Yes, it was nice.
Go back and give that a listen. But let's bring in our guest for this week because we are excited because Dave, you actually got to see her this past week over at the Monmouth Mile. And
yes, really quick.
She crushed it.
Shout out to everyone over there. Craig from Outpost, Travis Mahoney, Coach Joe Compagni over at Short. It was an absolute incredible meet. I mean, they had anywhere from an 8-minute mile down. I think there were 12 men who broke 4 minutes. I don't know if that's ever happened on New Jersey soil ever before, but I mean, to have 12 men break 4 minutes, same meet.
And kudos to former guest Eric Holt. Almost got caught.
It was awesome. Yeah.
But great race. But let's bring in our guest, someone else who had a great race over there, ran a 5:05, tearing up the track. Courtney Decker. She is a mother, a teacher, and masters runner for Bella in Motion. What's going on, Courtney?
Hi, guys. How are you tonight?
I am doing well. We appreciate it. Labor Day. So quick question. Are you okay with me calling you a masters runner? Because I don't know if
Yeah.
I like if
Yeah.
for me, I was like writing and putting. I'm like, it's what she is, but I don't
Masters,
know. It's like
masters.
Yeah, I've been a master's runner for 3 years now, so
Yeah.
At this
that
point,
is
it's a compliment. Like I know what I like. It is, but so that's awesome. You were there. You obviously saw Dave.
Yep.
What was your impression of the Monmouth Miles? It's your first year running it.
No, this was
Before?
my 4th year running it,
That's
and,
awesome.
when I first ran it, it wasn't at CBA a few years ago. It was at Mater Day, and
Yep.
then it went to CBA. They do an awesome job, and from the first time I ran it 4 years ago, it has just gotten. I mean, the talent has always been there, and they've always brought in like the best men. I remember being there 4 years ago, and I think it was like the first time someone ran that time on New Jersey soil, but it was awesome. It's just so like hyped up. And my own children ran it this year as well. 2 of my kids. One of my daughters ran it last year. Kind of because it was a childcare issue. So I like messaged
Hey.
Craig like, hey, what's the time limit? Because I have to warm up. And that's
Awesome.
how it worked out.
And it's something too, like they, they have the Elite 800s now too, which is
Which they
such
added.
a cool addition.
Awesome.
They just added in, the Elite men and Elite women, and we saw some of New Jersey's finest running there, obviously with Ali, Ajay, Olivia Baker, like
Wins it,
so
yep.
much Jersey talent. Yeah, Liv getting the win over there, and just on all sides. And I think that's the fun part too. It's like it's nice to see now people coming in from the outside trying to challenge this Jersey talent. 'Cause I think the Monmouth Mile has got a nice reputation for, hey, you can come run faster at the end of the year. And, maybe you didn't make it to Worlds or another big meeters or whatever, but there's another chance to run fast. And
Yeah, man.
you're
It
a
was
runner.
like
Runners like running fast when they can.
Yeah,
So
CBA has such a nice track, so it's just a great place to do it. And I don't want to go jinxing it, but I've done it the last 4 years, and they've had perfect weather.
yeah, I mean,
So
don't do that. Don't
it was like
I know.
it was like 75. It was
Perfect.
beautiful.
Yeah, it really was perfect weather. So the whole event was awesome, and my kids enjoyed it. And my one little one had the option to go to soccer, and she was like, "I am not missing the Olympians," and like they didn't care about me. Just to be clear.
We've already seen you run, Mom. We've already seen you run many times, Mom.
Yeah, they like my
But
face.
that's fantastic. So I want to jump into the meat and potatoes of the show, where we now just take a big time to talk about you and everything about you and running. So first things first, let's get going with, when did you want to become a runner? When did you get the spark to really pursue running and compete and try and compete at a high level?
High level. Well, I just know that when I was really little, my parents always ran, and I was listening to one of your past podcasts, and I think it was Travis Mahoney, and he said something about the Manasquan Turkey Trot. And I'm like, that's so funny. That's where like my parents would bring me, and I won the mile one year, and I'm sure I probably ran like 7 minutes, but it was like such a I played soccer my whole life. So it was like that feeling of that individual, like I feel so good about myself. And I went to elementary school and I broke the mile record. I had it for a couple of years at Hooper Ave. It got beat, but it's, and then I went to Intermediate East where I teach now, and ran track there. And it's so cool to like talk to my students, because I was in that school and some of the same coaches are there. So, they obviously have a bubble now, and things have really are very different than when I went through the same school district that I work in. But it was always kind of there. And I had a brother who ran, and I think being around that and just always being in that environment. But it was really in high school when I was probably maybe a junior, and there was a coach who had just graduated from Monmouth. She was not that much older than me, and she came to be our assistant coach, and she changed everything for me, because she was in the know. She was like, you have to start lifting weights, and she kind of just got me to a place with things I just didn't know at that point. Or like maybe we were lifting, but there was not like a set routine, and she gave me a set routine because she was this great 800 runner who had just graduated, and we to this day are very good friends. She was part of the reason why I left soccer. And it's funny because I only see her at the soccer fields now. And we joke about it. I'm like, you got me to quit soccer, but because she has 4 kids that play and I have 3 kids. Yeah.
And it's one of those things too, because like in high school, there's so much being juggled as a runner, right? Where it is hard to truly dedicate, and even for coaches to truly get you to dedicate to be in the weight room. Like that is not, especially for like a distance runner and things like that. Like most of the time, the distance runners don't take that seriously, especially in high school. But then when you get to college, if you're at a high level and you have a decent strength coach, they're designing those types of workouts for you. And it is super important to hit the weight room. So for any young distance runners out there, do not avoid the weight room. Hit that weight room, get a good workout in, talk to your coaches if you need help in terms of what to do. If you don't want to bulk, you don't want to do like these big Olympic lifts, but you want to do different. You can do them, just modifications. There's different ways of lifting for a distance runner. So that's awesome that you had a coach that eventually abandoned you to go back to soccer. That got you into it. So now you've had a fun journey in terms of running, in terms of being in, kind of out, and then coming back in as a master's runner and crushing it at that point. So tell us about some of your favorite memories as a runner and kind of talk us through your journey as a runner.
I mean, I ran in high school and then I ran in college at the University of Maryland. I did not really have a successful career at all. It was a big transition time when I was there. There was a coach who I had been recruited by a coach who then, as the summer I was going in, got fired. And then they hired a new coach who really didn't know me. And there wasn't really a big recruiting class. I think it was only myself and one other girl. So then there was a very large recruiting class that came in under me, and they were like all the same age and I was older. So it was just, I don't know, it was a
weird dynamic, probably.
It was weird dynamics. And then Coach Valman came in as the head coach, who was awesome, but I was like a junior
Coach Valman, Manchester.
Yeah.
Manchester's finest, baby. Here you go. Andrew Valman's amazing.
Which, is awesome. And I think I just saw that his contract was extended or something. He's there another year. So I was so excited to see that. But it was just, for me personally, I never really found that flow. And I was in college, so I did party and go out, and I just didn't balance it very well.
Well, I mean, it's a different world than it is now, though. Even like when we were all going, it was like it was still okay for you to be a top runner that's going to ICs and competing at conferences, but you're making sure you're at that party every Saturday night after the meet, whatever the track house was. Like, we were at track house, and it's a very different thing now where they take dry season real serious, and they take
everything way more seriously.
And the thing is, though, as much as I like it because we're getting the results, I hate it because they're not being kids. There's like a double. There's like a balance there where it's like, man, you're missing out on the best 4 years of my life. Like, I know I enjoyed college a ton. So it's like there's always that balance. All right, so keep going. Sorry.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if sometimes I look like now I'll run like a time faster than I ran in college. And I'm like, what could I have done? But then I know that I can't go back. So, but also as a grown adult, I can make those choices where like, I know now I've learned so much later in life about sport nutrition and, even alcohol. And like, after I had kids, I really didn't drink that much because I need to be around for them. And I don't know, I just saw my running improve and I was like, there it is.
And there's things that people could have told you that you just wouldn't have listened to, right? Like, if older you goes back to younger you and is like, this is what you should be doing, this is what I'm doing now, they'd be like, okay, old me, go away. I'm fine. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm in college.
But I was led to like a nutritionist in college at one point, and the advice I got then was not when I worked with a nutritional coach in the last 5 years. It's completely different. I learned so much more about eating for performance. So there's a lot of things I know now that I didn't know then. As far as going back into running, I have my husband's super fit and we worked out together. So that has always been really helps because we both have the understanding of like, hey, I need to go to the gym. And I'm like, I got it.
The urge.
We had from the time we met always worked out. We actually would like go running together, and he's not like a runner, but he runs pretty well. Like he trained for a half marathon this spring, and he doesn't consistently do that, but he has it in him. And it was just something we always just worked out, had children. We did CrossFit for a really long time. I did not know at that moment in our lives that CrossFit was actually like a very negative impact on my running because I'm so competitive. I'd be in there trying to lift heavy weights.
See, I'm not a fan of CrossFit. I hate CrossFit because it does teach you proper form and how to do things. But then it's like when you're trying to get that extra one, throw the form away and get it. And it's like, no, it's contradictory to everying you learn about lifting weights.
I was definitely feeling it. It hurt a lot, but also like I was trying to run a race. I wasn't really training, but I wasn't running great times. And then when I first joined Bella, And it was actually kind of funny because I was in a CrossFit gym where we would do workouts, and I couldn't lift as heavy as everyone, but I could run. And this one woman had said to me one time, like, you should really join this group, Bella in Motion. Like, you're running all the time. And I was like, I don't know. And then when she said Diane de Oliveira, I'm like, wait, I know that name.
Diane's awesome.
Yes, but I had gone to Toms River North. She's a couple years older than me, so we didn't know each other in high school, but she had also gone there, and it was just her name was always thrown out. Diane's record, this, that. And I was like, oh my God, like here I am years later. And I just felt like it was meant to be because I knew this name. So I got the phone number, called her. And at first, like the first year I ran for her, I refused to give up CrossFit. And she did not like that. And you know what? She was right. It didn't really work in my advantage. It wasn't until COVID where like the gyms closed and I started lifting in my own garage, and we went to run a race. The first race that was like available to race, you had to wear a mask the first 400 meters. It was a 5K. It was the Lacey 5K that summer. And the goal was, all right, I'm going to try to break 19 minutes. And I didn't even know what I was running. I came around and I saw the clock and it said 17 something. And I was like, what is happening? I just like left that heavy lifting behind, and for so months we just trained, and I ran like an 18:01. I think I hit it like right. Like I saw that clock and I was like,
that hurts.
It like made me realize like, whoa, I can do so much more.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that whole journey began. And then from that point on, Diane at one point was like, I really think you should try the 800. And I refused for like 2 years. And then I was like, she's like, it will make you a better miler. And then I tried it and I love it. And I'm like, why didn't I do this my whole life? I'm a better 800 runner than a 5K runner. I just never knew that till later on. I just, and
so
I
the
think,
moral of the story is listen to Diane.
Yeah. But I think for me too, personally, running for a woman for the first time was very different.
Sure.
For me. She and a master's woman. So she was really big on, I think when I joined her, I was maybe 36, 37. Yeah. But then once I hit 40, she's like, I'm telling you, you cannot train like an open runner. And I think that's why a lot of her runners are successful, because she is really big on rest and recovery, on pace, on she berates me because I don't listen all the time. And other people are like, come on, put me on the group text. I want to see her yell at you. Like, okay. But she's been an amazing coach, and she seems to be right quite often.
So we have a great question here from Coach Torchia, who was, CBA head coach forever, and amazing coach. He comes in and says, what age is masters, and what did you run in high school and college?
Well, masters is 40 plus. So now I'm 43.
I can hear the pain when you say that. Like you're saying it through your teeth, it's 40 plus. Say it with a smile.
Like the CrossFit world, I think it's like 35 plus, or they consider it. Yeah. But really, so a master's running, it's 40 and older. And what did I run in high school? So I ran at Toms River North. I did run the mile. I did run the 800 a few times. I quit soccer my senior year of high school to run cross country. And I still don't love cross country. The only big moment for my cross country in high school was I did win Group 4 South Jersey. And that was exciting. I went to college to run cross country. I found it very challenging because I went to Maryland at the time. They were in the ACC. Yep. Shalane Flanagan was there when I was there. I mean, do I need to say more?
And she was at North Carolina. Yep.
Yeah. And she would like lap me in the 5K. Like I hated it.
The fact that
she would lap a lot of men in the 5K too. So there's nothing to be shameful. Right.
It jumps up to 6K at times too. Just such an awkward race number too. Like men's and women's cross country in college. Like I hate that it's like the 8 and 6K in a lot of races. Right. Like I truly despise that. Such a weird, like you train for it because it's XC, but like how can you really train for that? It's bizarre.
Right. And I think I learned how to run the 5K better when I got older and didn't care about it as much. I don't know I think I just got myself so worked up all the time. And it's funny because one of the coaches I had, he runs this camp out in Colorado called Team Prep USA. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's like high altitude. All these high school girls go there and boys, and they're pretty successful kids around the country. I see him once a year. I have seen him once a year the last 2 years because he's no longer a college coach. He was only there for 2 years when I was in college. But I saw him at the New Balance Grand Prix because I ran the Masters Mile the last few years. And he's always like, I always talk about you and how you would just go out so hard and you were so like, but then you weren't. But I always talk about you. And I'm like, thanks so much, coach. Because I didn't really know how to run it. And Diane probably would tell you that not much has changed. Like, but I had my best 5Ks when I really calmed down that first mile.
Sure.
But then when I don't, like the Bradley a couple of weeks ago, we went out so fast and I was not in first place and we hit the mile in a 5:20 something. And I was like, okay.
But sometimes it's hard though, right? Because like if you're going out and the race is fast and you're looking at other women around you, it's like, I ran with her and her, we ran together. And then you're all just feeding on adrenaline. You probably all looked up at that clock and was like, what are we doing at 5:20 at the first mile?
Right.
Like that's all want to turn and look at each other. And it's you like want to turn and look.
Yeah. Well, I was like, this girl is a good 5K runner. I didn't know Amanda was in the race until she was like passing me. And I was like, oh, there she is.
No shame in losing to Amanda.
No. And she was like, she even said to me after the race, like, I thought maybe like, wow, these women were like so fast or I was going out so slow. She goes, then I saw the clock and I was like, okay. And then she was the only one who kind of really could hold it and chip away. So, yeah.
I mean, it is tough. It's tough too. And learning how to pace is like the hardest thing. One of them, as a distance runner. And it's like, I know I give credit to Coach Scheffler, and I know a lot of people run with headphones and stuff, but he was huge on you're never wearing headphones if you do a distance run. You need to learn. When I tell you guys, I want you guys to go out and run 3 miles and keep it at 7-minute pace, I want you back here around 21 minutes. Like you need to know how to get here and do that. And he was very big on learning how to run a pace and not using headphones. He's like, music controls your cadence. Don't do that. Like, so it's hard. It is really hard. And especially when the adrenaline's going and that's when your legs are feeling great early on. It's like, I could do this forever. So it catches you. So, so now you're in this Masters scene, right? And you said you've been in the Masters for 3 years. You've been training with Bella since you were 36 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How has it been post-college and jumping? So where was that gap from college until 36 years old? What were you doing in between that gap?
I was just going to ask the same thing.
Ran 3 marathons. I was walking by the end of everyone because I went out really fast.
History is history and it keeps on repeating itself.
I hate the marathon. I am not a marathon runner. I don't know if I ever feel the urge to do another one, but I had this great idea when I graduated, like I'm going to go back to like the Maryland, DC area and I'm going to run a marathon. And I ran it with my high school coach, Tammy, who I was telling you got me into like lifting. So she like was like, whatever you do, don't go out too fast. And she ended up passing me and she's a good marathon runner. So that race somehow walking the last 6 miles, walking, running, we both still qualified for Boston. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. And then like a day later, I'm like, fine, I'll run Boston. And then I ran Boston twice. It was cool because my younger brother who ran for CBA, he was at Boston College at the time. And he had all his like friends and his track friends at the top of Heartbreak Hill. And I was hurting by the time I got there. But so I kind of did that kind of stuff, just dabbled and I stayed in shape and ran, but I never really competed or trained or even like knew how to. And then once I got married and had kids, again, just like my husband and I would work out until it was really after I had my 3rd daughter. When this woman at the gym had recommended reaching out to Diane, it was really the mindset of like, you know what, I just want to get back in shape after having kids. I just want to like lose a little of this body fat. Like that was it. And then, I started to really like it. And it wasn't just her as a coach. It really is the group of women. It is an amazing, it started as just females. She does have a couple men now that do come and run. But it was just these women who were so supportive and they were also mothers, a lot of them, the majority, and we all have full-time jobs. And I don't know, it was just like that pressure of like, the pressure definitely comes from within, but everyone wants each other to be successful. And I wasn't like really used to that environment. I felt like I was always in a very competitive environment. And even when they were on your team, but this is just like a different vibe because we all choose to be here. We're all, in order for us to do any of this, we have to wake up at 5 a.m. because we have kids to take care of. And it's really nice to be with a group of people with the same similar goals. And I don't know, we just all kind of get each other. And, so that was really where it all kind of started. And I don't know, I never expected to run the times that I have recently. I think I remember the first phone call with Diane. I remember calling her and saying like, I think I could run like maybe a 5:30 mile again in my life. I think I could get in the 19s. And the first year I ran for her, I ran a 19:59 and I was so proud. And then by the time like a year and 2 years later, I ran a 17:34. That was like a significant difference.
Yeah.
But, and I try to tell, and I like doing this because I show my own kids, like, it doesn't come overnight, like years and years and years.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like push that on them because they're all soccer players right now. And my daughter is 13 and she's been like working really hard this summer. And the first game didn't go great. And she's like, I don't understand. I'm like, well, let me explain. You're going to have lots of failures and it's going to be okay. And let me be your example. So
one of the hardest things with kids is telling them you have time because they feel like they don't,
so much
especially
time.
when they get hurt and things like that. It's like, heal, you have time. And I didn't let myself heal when I was
and listen, I mean, I'm just very, very pumped because your daughters are going to go to Manasquan. I mean, like,
not confirmed. My daughter is like, it's not confirmed.
Okay.
So here's the question though: when are they becoming track people so that Dave can coach them?
My kids do actually enjoy running. They do like track. They loved the Monmouth Mile. They did the Bella Mile. My oldest daughter, who I honestly didn't think really liked running because she complains a lot about it. She came to the Bella Mile and she was so mad at me. I made sure, because I knew I was going to hear a lot of complaining, that we didn't get there with a lot of time before. And I like kind of made my mother meet me at CBA and she was like, thanks so much. And I passed her off. So she really didn't have like adequate time to warm up. She runs the mile and she ran like a 6:25. And
That's
she
awesome.
was like super proud because every time the kid runs a mile, she drops like 30 seconds. And then
Dave likes hearing that.
She's all mad at me after, like, you didn't even let me warm up. And I was like, because all you do is complain. And I was racing. Like when I'm racing,
mom's got to race.
It's hard for me.
So
Avon doesn't have a middle school track team. They're such a small school, and that's where kids go. So they would be doing it now if they did, but high school, they'll play soccer and they'll do that.
So I want to ask you, being a mom, or just a parent in general, we have so little time for ourselves. So I think it's so great and incredible that you find time for yourself, because we're better as human beings when we're happy and doing things that we like. Then we can be the best versions of ourselves so that we can give what we can to everyone else. So what is it like? What is your schedule like? Like what is a day in the life like of a Masters female runner who runs extremely competitively, who still teaches and still has to be mom? So just take us through what a day in the life of you is like when you're training for something.
Right. It starts very early. So obviously school starts tomorrow, first day back. The summer.
Thank you for staying up with us.
Yeah. So in the summer, you would think I would get up later, but my body is so acclimated to waking up so early. So during the school year, this is going to sound painful, but my alarm would go off at 3:45. And I do, I was injured for a while last year. I had a stress fracture in my foot that went on forever. So I was going to a local gym, and thank God they're a 24-hour gym, because I'd roll in there by like 4:15 and I can't talk to people. I can't look at people. Like I have to like bang it out. And that's why I hated going there, because people do try to talk to you because it's like the same 5 people every day. Sure. And they're so nice. But running out in the streets, I'm not seeing anybody. I had a couple of running partners, but somehow they all moved out of state. I try. There's not many people I can get
Probably moved out of state because you were getting him up at a
4 in the morning to go.
Yeah, we're gonna move now. Sorry, it's been nice knowing you.
One of my very good friends, her husband used to be the coach at Monmouth, and then he got the Dartmouth job, so they moved to New Hampshire. She was like my early morning running partner, mom of 3 also, which was nice. Again, people like me, so I was so happy for them, but that really stinks for me. And then another friend who got a job in California, but I do run really early, usually. Even last weekend, my kids had a soccer tournament. Last 2 weekends, Pennsylvania. I was like, all right, I'm waking up at 4 a.m. And I did because I knew I was racing the Monmouth Mile. So I got up, I chugged some black coffee, and was out the door by 4:30 because that was.
What's it like doing workouts? How does that work? Because like obviously running's running, right? Going out and just doing a distance run, you can get up at 4 and do that no problem. But when you have to maybe hit a track or do something like that, are you still driving out to the track at 4 in the morning?
So,
And
it's a great question. Not always. I know that when I was training for 5Ks, I found it a little easier. Not easier. Nothing's easy at 4.
Well, you could tempo and do some more things, but
right.
You could do more
I
things
feel
on
like
the road.
5K pace, like my body's just not awake. Running mile pace, those workouts is very hard at that time.
Yeah.
So last weekend I had a situation where 2 of my older daughters were both in a tournament in Pennsylvania, but they weren't in the same location or the same time. And my husband had to leave with one at like 5. So I couldn't leave my kids like home. I feel like I can't leave you in the house sleeping. So I didn't go to the track. I literally mapped it out on the roads of Avon. Like sometimes I'm doing track workouts on the street.
Sure.
You can't do that here once like 8, probably 7 o'clock on because we live right by the beach. So
20 people, yep.
But 4 a.m., no one's awake. And
I mean, there's a lot of high schools that still do the same thing you do because they maybe don't have a track and they just map out by the roads and that's their
roads after school. Often I'll run some days in the winter after school and I hit the Belmar Boardwalk and I see like St. Rose kids out there.
Or you see us at a Point Beach.
I did. That's how I met you. I was waiting for the Point Beach kids to leave. And
we don't have a track either. So I'm like, all right, everyone just.
Well, you have a J. You have a
J. Yes.
Yeah.
You have the J.
Yeah.
But what I find remarkable is like you don't have to do this. Like you're not on a team. You're not like being paid. Like this is something that you're doing because it's the best for what you want to do for yourself at this time. Right. So that's cool because there are people who are training who don't have that much dedication. Who are getting paid to train. So like what is the reaction from your family? Is it just like there goes crazy mom, out there running again, or like I mean, obviously you need the support from the husband and from your kids to make this all work. But it sounds like you do your part and you try to run at times where it's not interfering with anything else, which is very, very hard. My girls, I have 3 daughters and 2 play for one soccer club. Another one plays for another soccer academy. One happens to have a track. So that's nice. I was like, oh, she could join this. There's a track here. I'm just going to go work out and have fun at practice.
They do. The guy said to me, like, well, it was actually funny. She tried out in June and it's at Ranny School. And he said, oh, and if you want, you could walk the track. And without even thinking, I turned around and I said, I don't walk on tracks. And then I was like, oh, sorry, you don't know me. But if I can walk, I was like, oh, so rude.
Maybe the other moms walk, but I'm running.
Yeah. And the other day I was there because I realized with the Monmouth Mile, I got new spikes and I just completely forgot to try them on.
Yeah, sure.
And I was like, oh my God. So I was out there doing like striders and I kept changing spikes because I couldn't decide if I should wear the old ones or the new ones. And I'm like, these parents are watching me.
And here are people walking and you're doing striders in like 15 seconds and like doing like, you're like blitzing by them. And they're
so like change my spikes and then put a new pair on, then put another pair on. And
your daughter's like, whose mom is that over there?
Yeah, seriously.
Has there been times where she's been done with practice and you're like, mommy has one more set? Go away in the car.
No, I usually don't work out there because I like to it's like my time and I like to just do it. And I do when I run and I can't explain it. I just go black. Like I don't, my one daughter, so they play at where there is no track, but there's like a path and I'll run there sometimes. And she's like, oh, we were all clapping for you. And my coach was yelling your name. And I was just like, I don't hear him. Like, I don't even focus on that. I'm just trying to it wasn't even like a hard run, but I just kind of go into like a zone, but sometimes you got to make it work. I'll like I'm fortunate. I have some people to carpool with, but sometimes I'll say like, oh, I'll drive both ways. I'm going to go run there. And I think they're just like, okay, whatever, lady. Like,
so I would imagine that the Decker household is very structured. Everybody kind of knows there's like a calendar and like everybody kind of knows where they have to be at what time because it sounds like everybody's everywhere, right?
Yeah. My oldest daughter really impressed us this summer because she, talks. I want to do this. I want to go to this level. I want to play soccer in college. She's 13. But this summer, without me saying, you need to get up and run and you need to do this, she alarms 6 a.m. every day. People will be like, I saw your daughter run. I see my daughter running. I passed her. I passed her yesterday. I ran with a woman from another team had asked me to run. And then I was like, oh, that's my daughter. She looks nothing like me, blonde hair, blue eyes. And they're like, what? Why is she? And then later I was like, I caught her on the last half mile. I was like, how far did you run, Madison? She's like, oh, I ran 7 miles. Like,
wow.
That was her furthest run ever. But she's like, it felt so good. I'm like, that's because there's no humidity. And
she got the runner's high.
Yeah. But yeah, so she's a center mid and she knows that she's got to be fit. So
best position on the best position on the pitch.
Yeah. But like
set everything up.
She's lifting and she'll say to me like, well, when's it gonna work? And I'm like, you've been lifting for 7 weeks out of your whole life.
When's it gonna work?
Yeah.
Patience. Well, no, but that is true. I mean, kids these days, because of all other phones, they want everything now.
No, no. I wouldn't say that's kids these days. That was kids
true.
in general. You know, the thing is though,
but they get it quicker now because it's there. The information.
No, the difference is our coaches could turn around and look at us and say, "Shut up, idiot," and just do what you're told.
True.
Where now, if you turn around and do that to a kid, you lose your job, right?
Yeah.
Our coaches back in the day when we're going, "Why isn't this work?" and they go, "Because you suck right now. You'll be better later." Keep working. That's the difference. It really is.
That might have been the nicest thing that my coach.
Yes. So no, so it's not. I see that. I will blame things on kids now. That is a normal kid thing.
It is.
I'm working hard. Where's my payoff? Right. And there's adults that don't get that. So that is a hard thing to. So no, I'm defending kids here in this generation.
There you go. So Courtney, when you're probably like 2-3 years younger than me, but when we were young and in school, if a female athlete got pregnant, it was almost like you had a great career. Yeah. You were done.
Right.
So what is it like now? I mean, and were you inspired by, say, like the Allison Felixes or I guess
Alex and Felix? Yes.
Or other.
Elise Cranny currently, Faith Kipyegon and things like that.
Or Faith, or like these other women who have come back to an elite level, maybe even better after having kids, because I think we're still at the point where we're still kind of seeing what the female body can do. Right. And it's impressive and it's amazing. So were you ever inspired by any of them? And are we finally at the point where if you have a baby, it doesn't really mean anything? It just takes you just be out for a
yeah. I mean, you look at some of the other women around here, like Amanda. I mean, she literally ran till I think she had the baby like on the track and like.
Oh, listen, it's funny because I was talking to a Brian Prendergast and he told me, he's like, the greatest thing I ever saw. He's like, she ran 22 minutes at Homedale and gave birth 2 days later. I
saw that and I was like, all I thought about was like, thank God she didn't fall, because I fall like on I would trip normally, but she just with like maybe the extra weight. But
the doctors do tell a lot of women that
if you are already running
your lifestyle as long as you can. If your body says stop, then stop. But if your body's saying it's okay, that's what your body's saying it needs.
I think if your doctor tells you otherwise, you need to find a new doctor. But I wasn't as fortunate as her. Like I definitely did not run like her pregnant, or I ran until it hurt. And I remember all 3 of my kids, there was like a certain point, maybe the last 10 weeks, where there was just so much pressure. And I worked out. I did CrossFit like literally the day before I had the kid, but I was on like the Airdyne bike. And I do think it's, there's, I don't know, to me, I was always surrounded by I was in the gym with other pregnant women. Yeah. So I think it was always like surrounding yourself with people like you. But I did listen to the book that Kara Goucher wrote. And I thought that was so disheartening to hear that, like, when she wanted a baby, like how frowned upon it was, and how it was like, just like, I don't know, like they like shamed her. And it was wild to me, because I'm like, I don't know. I think things are definitely different now.
Well, I think it's so crazy too, like, not to interrupt you, but it's like, it's so different in track where it's all individual. So it's not like they're like, contracted by these big time teams. Like, as much as it sucks, but it's like, we saw Maya Moore in the WNBA. Once she wanted to have kids and have a family, she had to stop, because taking that time off from a team sport, the chemistry goes away and maybe those different skills diminish a little. And that's a different scenario, right? Where running, if I can get back, then who the hell are you to tell me I can't? And I feel like these individual sports are very different.
Sure.
And again, it's a different situation where, okay, I schedule my races as a pro, even as a pro, like, so I feel like it's so different in the world of running than maybe a team sport where you're under contract for X amount of years on a team and there's that chemistry dynamic and things like that.
Totally. I think too, with like, just being in a team sport, because I see my kids, like, they'll complain about so-and-so didn't come to practice and they're still starting and did it. And I'm like,
the politics of it.
That's exactly it. And I'm like, well, I felt that sometimes I feel like I'm reliving my like childhood, because there was moments where I was at Toms River North playing soccer and there were some similar situations. And so I say to my daughter, like, I'm not like a very soft mom. I'm like, well, then quit and go golf, run track, or go swim, because you can't control other people. I know they're your teammates and we want to continue to put her in the best environment. And I see that. But at the same time, like I'm like, you can't focus on other people. And I have to tell myself that. But with running, it was like me, I can do what I want. I'm going to train this way. I'm going to pick this race. So the team aspect, there's a lot of things aside from just having a child, and
it changing the team.
But it's nice to have a sport that is individualized, because, but with moms, I think even mentally, it kind of after was like, I know for me, it was like that, I'll show you, because there was someone very close to me, I won't say who, that had said to me when I was trying to start running again, literally said, you're not an athlete anymore. You're a mother. And it was like, they literally poured the gasoline underneath me and threw the match down. I was like, well, you.
Yeah. So do you think something like this helped you? Because I know a lot of women suffer through postpartum, and it's different for every woman. I feel like all women experience it at some level, right? Like, some women go a little bit further and they need help, but other women just kind of, they get in a funk. Do you feel like doing this kind of helped you? Because like you said, you were around a lot of like-minded women, a lot of mothers, you had that support system. Do you feel like this kind of helped you, if you had any certain, because like I said, I feel like all mothers get it to some extent,
right?
But do you feel like there's something that helped you?
Yeah, I wish I knew them when I had my first child, because I didn't meet them till I had the third. And by the time you have the third, you're like,
they can go do whatever. The streets are safe enough.
But my first daughter, like first baby, it was like a shock to the system. Sure. It was, I was always used to being fit, and I felt like I hated my body after that. Like I had all C-sections because my first two daughters were breached, and that I did not like at all. Right. I did not want that recovery. And
well, the thing is too, with C-sections, like, we make it sound so flowery, like, yo, it's a surgery. Like, you are having surgery, and surgeries are hard to recover from. Like,
I was so shocked when I'm like, wait, you get one extra day of insurance for a C-section? One?
Yeah.
Like, crazy.
And I didn't, when I found out that my first daughter was breached, I started going to like a chiropractor who was certified in turning breech babies, and he accidentally broke my water on his table. So that was just like, it was like a trauma.
Oh my God.
I mean, luckily it was only like 3 weeks early, but still it was like, I'm going to work tomorrow. No, honey, you're having a baby. I'm like, no, I have to go to work. I teach.
Wait, why aren't you wealthy? Because why the hell didn't you sue that chiropractor till no end?
Well, after, when I found out my second daughter was also breached, the doctor was like, you are absolutely not going to that chiropractor. I was like, I got you. But,
unless you're late. If you're late, then go to the chiropractor.
Yeah. No, that was like a scheduled C-section. But, it was just not a walk in the park. And then the baby, just having a baby, like everything changed. Everything changed when you have a first baby. And I don't do well with sleep, like not sleeping at all. So I had this child that never slept, and she was colic for like 8 months. No one told me about colic. Like, so I do wish I met those women, earlier in life, because they probably would have been helpful. But I think just running in general does help with like any type of stress and depression. I think, everyone needs something different to manage it. And for me, even like the days that I have to take a rest day and I know it's healthy for me, I am mean. I am not nice on the days I take rest days.
At least you know it. Mommy has a rest day today. Stay away from me.
Built up.
Oh, you're poor students.
I teach middle school, so yeah.
Our whole family has a calendar just for a mommy's rest days. That's the only thing on the calendar.
Anyway.
Mommy rest day. Husband will take daughters to all occasions. Mommy stays home today.
Yeah.
So that quickly rolls into this, Coach Georgia asking, how often do you lift and how many hours of sleep you get?
Oh, I'd be getting more sleep right now. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm kidding. I'm happy to be here. I love lifting. So I lift in my garage. My husband and I, we have weights, and I like it so much better because I really can just lift around my races. I'm going to say I probably lift like 4 days a week. If I have a race, I lift very differently because a couple weeks ago I lifted and I couldn't even walk. And I was like, oh my God, what did I do to myself?
The CrossFit brain, those intrusive CrossFit thoughts took over.
Yeah, I definitely didn't do anything that crazy. But if there's like an off season, like I am planning on, I used to run all during the year and I used to drive Diane crazy. I think now I'm getting a little better with her. Trying to stay more like race specific. She's like, oh my God, you want to run the 800. Then the next week you want to run a 5K. Then you want to, and she's like, how am I supposed to train you? So I did run 2 5Ks this summer and I did not train for them, but shockingly I did just as well. So I was like, guess what, Diane, I don't have to train for the 5K anymore. But with lifting, if I have races coming up, I try to stop lifting a couple of days before, which I hate. I hate I'm so used to like the feeling of, and so I don't love it, but I know it's beneficial for racing. If there's like an off season, like soon I'm going to run a race next weekend, and then I probably will make myself cross train a week and take some time off. I'll probably lift heavier and lift more in my off season, and then go into the winter. So
I have a question since like as a older runner, you're not like, I think, as a coach, like I'm so used to kids like summer training, cross country. Like, do you do longer stuff, say in the summer and the fall? Or do you just kind of always kind of go specific for what you want to run?
Yeah, I think it's more specific. Diane coaches a lot of people, so it's a very individualized plan. So she typically sends me like a plan in the beginning of the week, and it's always based on, how did you feel last week? How did this workout go? Did you do this workout too hard? Because then she doesn't really want me running super hard all the time. She'll really modify. So it's kind of around races. I used to do more 5Ks in the fall, but then I got that stress fracture last year, and that really just threw me for a loop. I actually didn't think I was ever going to run again after that race again. I was shocked that I came back last summer. I think I ran like the Brooklyn Mile and the Monmouth Mile and Fifth Ave, and that was like huge. I couldn't believe I was actually on the starting line, because during that time I had to work so hard to stay physically fit.
Sure.
And I was going out to this pool in Tinton Falls all the time, and it was during the winter. So it was like swim team season. And I think CBA would use that pool, and then RBC would be there. And then they actually have a swim team there. So like their hours were all weird. And thank God my husband is so supportive and would be like, okay, I'll get the kids wherever you got to go.
Shout out to supportive husbands. Shout out to them doing the right thing.
Majorly. So I would aqua jog. I would smell like chlorine for like 5 days later after I took like 100 showers. I hated it. But I think I just had to work so hard. And then I remember getting on the track, and I will remember it was my birthday last year. My birthday's in June, the end of June. And I met my friend Cassie, whose husband at the time was the coach at Monmouth. And he's like, oh, I'll just come and time you guys just for fun. And I was doing this workout with her, and she was like, I'm going to pace you. They knew I was like out of shape, and I felt like I couldn't even finish the workout. It was so hard. I cried after. I was like, what happened to me? So to be back here, I don't plan on running so many 5Ks in the fall again. I think it was just so much that being 40, I also have, hallux rigidus of my big toe, which really sucks. I've gone to like 5 different foot surgeons.
I don't know what that is.
It's basically like bone on bone. It's like a bone spur.
Ouch.
It's from wear and tear, and it's just really progressed since I turned 40. I went to HSS a couple of times. I went to a couple of doctors around here, and the only 5 different opinions was surgery. And the last doctor's like, just keep doing what you're doing until you actually need it. And it's really just come down to footwear and finding the right shoes.
Sure.
And I switched to carbon plated trainers, which I was really not into. I was really against, but
the super shoes.
Yeah, I need something really rigid. So I, as far as training wise, will probably maybe cross over now a little more because I'm not going to be racing year round.
Yeah.
So have you?
Okay, go ahead, Alex.
Oh, go ahead, Dave. You go.
So as you get older and you're still running, do you think there's ever a point where you get to the point where you're like, I don't know if I can go faster than I already am, or like, are you still at that mind frame where I can still get faster every year? Age is just a number. Do you think there's a point where you're like, I don't know if I can go faster anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm there yet.
I don't think so.
I know it's coming because I'm not stupid. I mean, I also run with women 10 years older than me who are phenomenal athletes. And I see that like their times aren't where they used to be.
Sure.
And I think for me, because I'm a head case, I feel like we all probably are. I don't know.
Distance runners are head cases.
I don't want to be able to handle that. So
right.
I also know that my personal life with 3 kids who are super active, like my husband and I, they're not just playing for a soccer club. We're bringing them to supplemental training in Middletown 2 nights a week. And I'm sitting in a parking lot till 10:30 at night, which is so tiring. And then, we're going to this trainer and we're going here. I know that they want to be at a high level, and who knows if they will, but I know that in order for that to happen, it's a lot on my husband and I, and it's probably less me time, me racing. So I know it will come to that point, but time-wise, I know it's going to happen. I think right now I do have a goal of running faster than I did last weekend or last couple of days ago. So I just don't know how much faster, but I still feel it. So I still feel it.
And you know what? And with this sport, like even when you aren't, when the times start to go, it's still a sport that you can do for the rest of your life. Like that's why they have different age groups. Like they have the age group winner of this race, so like as you age, you could still be winning every single age group and even get those.
Right. There's some fast 50-year-olds now.
Listen, man,
it really is.
It's a different world now, man. Like everybody's so fast now. It's unbelievable. And you are right there with everyone. So it's fantastic.
Well, there was one woman who is a phenomenal runner and she was just turning 50. She's one of the best in the country. And we were trying to plan this 4x800 that I ended up running, but it ended up being a different age group than we were initially planning. And the whole goal was let's try to break the American age group record for 40 to 44. So it was myself and another woman who's like 41. And this one woman is about to turn 50. We would all have to split like 2:19 or faster. She's like, we reached out to her and her response was like, oh, I don't really actually run at this time of year. I guess she does a lot of biking and swimming. She's like, but just give me 3 weeks and I could be at 2:19. And I'm like, what? Like, how do you?
That's crazy.
We ended up doing the race, but it ended up being the 35 to 39-year-old age group American record because we couldn't find a 4th person.
Got it.
There are a lot of women in this country in our age that are fit to do it, but it's really hard to find people that are in shape at the exact same time.
Sure.
Or injuries, kids, this, that.
Because there's not set seasons really either. Like there is, it's not as organized, right? Like you're all trying to map out your races. So before we get out of here, because I do want to, keep this as short and sweet as possible for you, even though we will revisit this in the summer when you have less going on and we can have like a full long hour and a half to 2 hour soiree. But, Have you found that you have to constantly review with Diane what you're doing year after year in terms of, what's working, what isn't, how you're changing, how you're feeling different physically? Because I feel like you're kind of rediscovering yourself over the past years as a runner, 3 years. And you're sitting there, like you said, looking at things like, oh, I'm running faster than I did in college. So it's like, are you still kind of on cloud 9 with how you've been running and how you've been able to respond? Because like I found it harder to recover from injuries as I get older. Like it's really hard. But you responded with a 5:05 after a stress fracture. Like that's incredible.
From the few interactions that I've had with you, it seems like you're very hard on yourself.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think
you're like 5:05. That wasn't good. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I mean, I really wanted to be under 5, and whatever.
But that's all that you have that mind frame that you're 43 and you still have that mind frame of I can be better. Like most people our age would be so happy to just, finish the race. But like, I love your mind frame. It's so cool that you haven't lost that desire to just be the best.
I know. I think it's a blessing and a curse because I'm never satisfied. Like I literally finish that race. I'm like, it was my fastest mile of the summer so far, but I'm not satisfied with it, which keeps me going forward. And
I think once you lose that is when you're gonna know, like, okay, it's time to stop racing competitively, highly competitive.
Right. But it's hard.
Maybe I'll go back to the fun 5Ks.
Right. Yeah. Maybe not. I'll get.
You'll do it. No, this person that said I'm never gonna do a marathon. Again, the first thing you'll do is go. Let's go qualify for Boston. Let's go run the Broad Street 10 as a warm up.
We'll see about that. But it was funny. The night of the Monmouth Mile, I was putting my 8-year-old to bed, and my 8-year-old's tiny, and like she doesn't run because why would I run an 8-year-old? And she's running the Monmouth Mile, and I swear to God, she went out behind. Like there had to be like 25 kids. She was in dead last. And I was like, okay, like, I think you could run a little faster. And I was like on the infield warming up. So I'm like, just try to go catch people. So she did. She just kept catching people. And she comes to the last like 150. And I'm like screaming at her. And she says, Mommy, the little girl, she was passing a little girl. She's like, I think I thought about it after. She tried to distract me because she turned. And the girl was so sweet. She said, hey, you're a really good runner. Do you play soccer? And she's having like a side conversation.
In the middle of the mile.
Hey, man.
I love
150 to go. And I'm like, she just takes off, like beelines it. So I go to put her to bed that night, and she's like, I'm like, she ran 8:06 or something.
Great, that's awesome for
which is awesome. Like,
crap,
she runs in her, never ran a mile in her life. I just didn't have childcare. And so I'm putting her to bed. I said, Jessie, you did so good. She says, oh, no, I didn't, Mom. I could definitely run faster.
Wow, she's little you.
I literally said, oh, no, this is my child. She is my child. And all my kids are like that, all of them. And I'm like, it's a good thing, but then it's hard as a parent.
Balancing that, right? But it's also teaching your kids to balance, that neuroticism of,
listen, man,
I want to get better, but I need to get better. There's a very big difference between want and need.
So,
like,
all of your daughters are like you, like really, really. And your husband is a saint.
Yeah, I know. He is. He took them to the soccer field today, and I'm getting texts from my oldest. She's like, he thinks he's a soccer coach. He thinks. I'm like, how about you say thank you, Dad?
Yeah,
taking the time to bring me here, because a lot of people aren't going to do that on Labor Day, and also bought you 10 soccer balls so you can line them up and practice shooting. And then like when she thinks about it, she's like, oh, you're right. Okay. But she's a teenager. So
listen, if you can remind her to be grateful and then she acknowledges it, that's a win for a teen, right? Like that is a win. And that means you have a well-adjusted child. If they can reflect as a teen and go, maybe Mom's right. That's massive.
Right. If she doesn't, that is not going to happen. I brought her to the track one day this summer, Monmouth University. My other two were in soccer camp. And I said, okay, we'll go to that track. We're there. And she just complained. She wanted me to train her. I wanted to get my nails done. But here I was training her after I already worked out, and she complained. So I finally just said, get in the car. We're done. We're done. Yeah, and she was like, no. And I was like, I don't want to leave. I'm like, well, we're leaving. And I made her leave, because I knew I had to put my foot down, and she never complained again. Because I was like, if you don't complain to your coach, and you're wasting my time. So I'm like, am I too hard on these kids? But
no, good parenting. Good. So, I like hearing parents that don't make empty threats, that we need more. Maybe we should make this new a parenting podcast.
But I also didn't think like I'm going to spend time on the track listening to this more than once in my life.
Like, hello, these nails are not going to get themselves done. So let's go.
So the last thing I want to ask you before I finally let you go is, number one, are you a fan of track and field? Do you watch it when you can? Do you follow
I love track and field. I even follow the high school kids. I find like them
that's even better,
which is they're insane.
So my question for you is the same question that we try to lay on most of our guests. If you had a magic wand and you could do something to improve this sport that would bring in casual fans, that would get our pros paid, so that if your 3 daughters do become big time runners, they go to a major university, their next step isn't really trying to get that shoe contract and having
they're going to break
level times, right?
First they're going to break every Manasquan record. And then they can go pro.
So what would you do to fix our sport in order to make it a lucrative professional sport?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, I think one of the massive complaints is just when you have to pay to watch it. I'm trying to find meets online. I'm so excited. You see it on social media. This person's racing. And then I'm like, well, where is it? I can't find it. And I'm like, I think that's a huge part of it.
I think I spend $60 every month on Flow Track, Runner Space, Mile Split.
Exactly. Even our races, like there have been races where we have one of our teammates running, or Diane's at nationals, and we want to watch her. And like one of the women has like a Runner Space, so she's like sharing the password, and like it's like we're going through like hula hoops to get there. Like it's crazy. And
100%.
My kids loved watching the Olympics last summer.
Yeah.
I don't think they realized how much they loved watching track and field until it was like there. And it was, we would even bring the TV out on the porch, and like people would walk into the beach, and I was like, we were watching it. So that's, I think, the number one thing is just having the availability, not having to pay for it. Like, and it's wild to me. And I don't end up paying like you. I don't. I'm like, I'm not paying $60.
I don't. And I love the sport. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. And I go on, and then I like see it on like Facebook or Flow Track or whatever. And so it sucks though. You want to watch it live. It's just like, you feel like you're in the moment.
That's why like the Grand Slam was so great, and it just wasn't.
And you want to give those like you want to give, you want the Grand Slam was the Grand Slam,
but it was good because like you said, like you knew that it was on the WB or whatever, like you knew where it was at what time. Like track it. There's almost too many meets. Like there's like so many meets, and they're on so many different platforms that you're right. Like it's like screw it. I'm just not gonna watch anything because I don't know where to find it, and I'm not gonna spend 4 hours looking for it.
And when it is on, like it's like, oh my God, track and field's on. My parents call, they're like, there's a track meet on.
Yep. I think it's crazy that like high school and college meets are gate kept behind paywalls too. It's like
well, you know what it is too. But then they'll show you like, oh, good. I've been waiting for this 10K the whole time, and they'll show 3 laps, and then they'll go to commercial. I'm like,
oh, you need picture in picture.
Yeah, like show us what's going on, man.
Like, I think that could be like the number one thing they could fix is just how they broadcast everything. I think there is a high interest, but they make it so challenging to watch.
I love it.
And like young kids, they like to watch TV. So
my team in practice, we're always talking about, did you see Josh Kerr? Did you see Jakob? Did you see Cole? Like it's cool to talk about, but we just need a place to watch it. You're absolutely right.
And I think for young girls, because Dave, you have girls, Courtney, you have girls. I have 2 young girls. It's one of the sports where they get their shine, and it's on an equal level, very equal level to the men and the women, and they get to see women doing incredible things, right? Like, and what was awesome with Dave probably had this. I'm watching USATFs at times, and there's a guest from a show, so I can say to my girls like, "Hey, she was on Daddy's show." And they're like that. All of a sudden, they start rooting for them.
My daughters didn't know anything, but where I was watching AME, and I'm like, "See that girl, Sinclair Johnson?" I'm like, "She was on the show 2 weeks ago." Like, "Oh, go Sinclair!"
And she's the mile record holder for women.
And she just broke the American record holder like 1 week after she was on our show.
Josette and everything, and so we have so many, but it does become fun, and I think that I agree with you. Exposure is everything, and I think that making it easy and marketing where it is too, right? Because even when there is a big race like on NBC, nobody knows besides the nerds, right? We know, but no one else knows. And it's up to us to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and be like, hey, can you put on the pre-classic? Like, put it on the big screen, damn it. Like,
I that, and I also think betting would be huge. Put it on FanDuel, put it on
it would definitely.
Those are the 2 things that I've heard most from
Yes.
our guests is betting and just making it available for everyone to watch.
Right.
Courtney, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was so nice to end my summer with you guys.
We appreciate it.
Tomorrow.
Yes. So yes, Courtney is starting school. Thank you so much for staying up past 10 with us. And knowing you got to wake up at 4 in the morning, 3:30 to go run. Like I feel even worse now. But
I'm actually doing my workout after school tomorrow. And my daughter asked
That's why you said yes. Only reason you said yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because I need that extra hour of sleep. But I told my older daughter she can come, but she's got to stay in lane 2. I was like, I got to race on Sunday.
Get out my lane. Stay in your lane. So once again, she's Courtney Decker, Masters runner for Bella in Motion. If you have a chance to watch her, she's going to break 5. So and do it very soon. So we're going to watch her break 5 and we're going to enjoy it. And, like I said before, my plea with Bella in Motion is Please do individual pictures.
Listen,
When I was trying to steal a picture of Courtney from your Facebook, that collage thing made it difficult, Bella.
I'll tell you why, though. Diane tries to give credit to everyone that runs that weekend.
Diane doesn't have to listen to what Alex said.
Do individual pictures and put them together. We can scroll through. We're capable.
Diane, do what you do.
No, but Diane, that's awesome. Bella in Motion's a
it's awesome.
Thing. I know the Bella Mile's been following us for a while. Bella in Motion, like we've been, they're someone that will often, like a lot of our things too. So we love that.
And Bella Mile is also at CBA's track a little earlier in the season.
It is.
The date is a little more challenging for some people, but again, it was kind of cool for me to go run the Bella Mile and then go back to the same track, a month and a half later and see how I knew I improved, because I was like, I'm doing all these road races, and road races are tough because they are
tough. It's tough to measure how you're doing. Yes.
This was like, legit. Like I was like, oh, I feel so. Bella Mile, try to get, some of your Sinclair Johnsons out there.
We'll talk to them. We'll talk to some of our runners and see what we could do. And even some of like the great high school runners that might be home for college. Let's get them out there.
Or, maybe one day the Monmouth Mile will keep growing and it'll add a women's elite mile.
Maybe the Bella Mile and the Monmouth Mile. The Bella Mile can be in the Monmouth Mile.
It can be.
They actually were part of the same series. There's a series called
I like that.
Maniac Milers for Maniac, or Maniac for Milers in New Jersey. So it was part of the same series.
Well, it's like within the Millrose games, you have the Wanamaker Mile. So why not have the Bella Mile could be the sponsor of the women's mile within the Monmouth Mile meet?
Yeah.
So my last question, and we're truly going to let you go after this. How do I get Bella merchandise?
Bella.
I want a Bella in Motion shirt that I can wear on the show.
We'll get you one. That would be awesome.
I absolutely want one. Dave and I would love that.
I'll wear that on the shirt all the time. Yep.
I will. I 100% want a shirt.
We actually have some fella in motion. There's some men that started running.
I want Bella in motion. Okay. I want the original. I want to rep the original. Okay.
That goes for any coach out there. Any coach, any guest, get us a shirt of your sponsor or your school. I'll wear it.
And I'll pay for it too. I don't need to. It doesn't need to be.
We'll get you one. We'll work on that. We'll see what
medium
a mile. But
so, everyone, again, thank you for watching wherever you're watching from. We appreciate it. Make sure you give us a follow and all that good jazz. If you're listening to this later via podcast, please give us a 5-star rating. Coach Torchia, as always, thank you for commenting. We always appreciate you. And we'll be back next week with another fantastic guest. Courtney, we appreciate you.